What's going on, Master Duel fans? James here again. PVP Showdown for you guys. And this was, at the time this video was recorded, this was supposed to be either before or after the maintenance for that matter. And I figured, why not have this PvP reference to showcase you guys in terms of an insane 1v1 against another tuber who goes by the name of Pepperwentz. Big shout out to you for standing up and playing something pristine, never before seen. Well, technically, all I can say is you are an incredible duelist like no tomorrow. So, first things first, in terms of deck comparison. Starting off fresh, you guys know me way too well with Evil Eye for one. In terms of the Master Duel version of Evil Eye, I'd say this is barely straightforward and pretty much lived up to its standards. So the idea is you need to see Ryzeal or Medusa at all times in terms of controlling the humanoid fiends as well as the equipped eye cards such as Selene and or Gorgonio, and to back yourself up with the Evil Eye spell traps or any other spell traps that deals with negation in general or interruptions. This is basically where going first, you are basically going to control the game and put yourself in a very good position. Depends on how you use your negates and interruptions correctly. And then of course, as you guys notice from the extra, the Gorgon and Ryzeal, these Evil Eye monsters are the star attractions. Shouldn't need to say more about it. And then the fiends, in terms of the Gen XZs, Typhon, the two nightmares of Cerberus and Phoenix, Beat Cop to protect your Evil Eye spell traps, Muckraker for Fiend Resurgence, Abomination for the sake of destruction, for which, by the way, again, card is nice to have back, but this is basically my old list before the change of About Aku, so I figured, why not have Abomination being accompanied? And then Underworld Goddess, obviously, she's a fiend, deals with unaudible monsters. And a non-fiend of Dark, that's only if you never saw Ryzeal all game long. Dark Crash, search for Ryzeal, which is, again, huge. And as for the early stages of the Ryzeal deck lists, with the addition of the sages being armed and ascended, it makes it so that these sage monsters are basically the free extenders, because for ascended sage, if you control no cards at all, it's free special. And then armed sage is basically if the only monster you control is one level 4 that isn't armed sage, free special. So basically these two are free bodies, and it's meant to make Ryzeal access to make it more controllable. And then you got the fairly straightforward the Ryzeal good stuff, nothing more, nothing less, with the additional spice of Call by the Grave, Forbidden Droplet, the triple evenly match, and then the one lone Empire. And in the extra deck, all I can say is that some are fairly straightforward and some are just more than others. But I totally understand about the 7 Tachyon being a UR for one. So I figured if my opponent is not on the 7 Tachyon package for the sake of revealing something like Giant Hand or even Masquerade, which again makes sense though, but I totally understand why. So the extra deck choices for that matter, aside from the usual Ryzeal and the Aggregator, of course, you got Giant Hand, Rhapsody, and Berserk. I once remembered using Rhapsody in one of the early XZ decks. Card is absolutely fantastic. Satellanite Deltaros, it's been a hot minute about Deltaros. So it's basically, while it has material, your opponent cannot stop you in terms of normal or special summon something, and then he is a spot removal, which is absolutely amazing. Rip Baguska. When this video goes up, again, this was before maintenance comes up. So when this video goes up, rip Baguska in the chat. Starleash Photon Blast Dragon, Dagaris, Gallant Granite. If you're wondering about Gallant Granite, that's for the sake of Nibiru. Ace Sophia for the bounce back, Banshee because Ryzeal are Pyro, and then full armor Utopic Ray Lancer, Glow Style Dude, by the way, highly impressed. So based off from the SR or UR Glow Style moments, Glow Style Utopic, Glow Style Crossout, which is amazing, and then self-explanatory on the rest. With that being said, let us get into the PvP showcase within versus the toughest deck at the time this video goes up. And with this hand going second, apparently, all I can say is this is by far equilateral hands for both players. Bonfire for X'd. X'd, toss out Aggregator, free special, getting Sword. Sword, free special, getting Star. Real normal to the Ice. Special to Nude. Xyz shunking into Duo Drive. Duo Drive getting Cross and Plasma Hole. Cross, Nude, send a Duo Drive, Special Sword. Xyz shunking into another Duo Drive. This time it's for the plus. Detach for Star. Star set the plug-in. Makes sense because Cross and Plasma Hole was already accessed from the get-go. Ryzeal Detonator. The star attraction of Ryzeal. He is essentially not once per turn, not once per chain, Zodiac Dryden 2.0 of sorts. Detonator, Hookup, Aggregator, Cross, return to 2, draw 1, and set 3. Unleashed, toss out 2, Catoblepas and Gorgonio getting Selene. Gorgonio banish. Discard Selene. There's the Lancia. I was legitimately wondering if my opponent would have used Lancia early on, then all of my banishing plays in terms of banishing for cost, all of that would have been stopped. But at the same time, in Pepper Wentz's defense, he didn't know what deck I was on, so gotta catch my opponent slipping. Getting Pareidolia, Thrust, and originally there was a debate between Talents and or Duster, but I figured Talents is the way to go because we need a way to deal with Detonator by any means necessary. Everything else is just not so much to care about. Oh, and spill some blood because Unleash shot effect. Talent take Detonator. Pareidolia. Plasma Hole. Detonator. Target Cross. Plug-in. Target Node. Detonator. Target Dual Drive. Chain 6 Beam Blizzard. Negating the plug-in. And everything goes. Also, no recursion effect out of Catoblepas because we need to leave him alone in the graveyard because of his first effect, which is, or no, second effect. If you control an Evil Eye monster that isn't Catoblepas, free specialist, but banish it whenever it leaves. Catablepus, free special, Basilius Toss Out, the Celine, Tool, the return of Ryzeal, ruler of the Evil Eye. 2+ Evil Eye monsters to make it as a Link 3, Decode Talker Arrows, Dark Fiend, 2600 attack. Upon Link Shokuned using a monster with 2600 or higher attack as material, it gets to make a second attack during each battle phase. Most cases, it's the mini Evil Eyes we use, which is not going to happen on the second attack. And then once hooked up with Evil Eye of Celine, well, while hooked up, as a quick effect, you can target one card your opponent controls, kill it. And then once per turn during the next standby phase, assuming that if you use the spot removal effect, negate the effect of one event monster this card currently points to. In other words, any monster that's being pointed at off from the Link 3's arrows, it's mandatory, does not target negate one. Right now, no monster on site. Gorgonio, 5100. Also, could folks not, oh, Lancia, never mind. Also, my opponent was extra lucky to use Lancia right this minute because the moment I, Link summoned into Ryzeal, opponent basically turned off my Unleash side effect to make sure my equipped Celine cannot come back to the back row being hooked up off of Link 3. But as much as I have to admit it, Pepperwentz, again, you are a great duelist, but it all has to come on down to the end. Ryzeal, spot removal, the call by, which can't use anyway due to Lancia. And I am so glad I had the Link monster attack first and then its detonator. Because truth be told, if I would have did this in the reverse order, the Link 3's attack would have gone down anyway. So Link monster first, and then detonator for lethal. So again, thank you so much to Pepperwentz for being a great duelist. Be sure to check out the channel, like and subscribe if you love to see more PvP showdowns in the near future. Thank you all for tuning in, and catch you guys in the next PvP showdown in the near future.